On March 15th, 2025, 8 Venezuelan women found themselves at the heart of a deportation ordeal that would expose the stark realities of the Trump administration's immigration policies. Their journey began with a deportation order, but instead of being sent back to their homeland, Venezuela, they were taken to Guatemala. The women, already anxious and uncertain about their fate, were then moved onto another flight, this time destined for El Salvador. The women reported being deliberately separated from male detainees, including Franelli Carolina Zambrano Manrique, who was separated from her husband, Rolando Barreto Villegas. Adding to their apprehension, the blinds on the plane were kept drawn, shielding them from knowing their whereabouts and heightening their sense of fear and confusion. Unbeknownst to the women, the men on these deportation flights were being sent to El Salvador under a controversial agreement to accept deportees, even those without ties to the country. Upon landing in El Salvador, the 8 Venezuelan women faced another unexpected turn of events. Instead of being allowed to disembark, they were met with a resounding rejection from the Salvadoran government. The reasons behind this refusal remain unclear. The women were swiftly put on a return flight to the United States. They were now being sent back to the uncertainty of detention centers, with the specter of deportation still looming large. While the 8 Venezuelan women were denied entry into El Salvador and sent back to the U.S., the men on their original deportation flights were not as fortunate. These men were taken to Secot, the mega prison central to El Salvador's war on gangs. Built for 40,000, Secot housed an estimated 120,000. Human rights organizations decried the deportations, arguing many were sent without due process. The lack of transparency made it nearly impossible to ascertain the well-being of those imprisoned. Section 4. Franelli's story, a family torn apart by deportation. Among the 8 Venezuelan women caught in this deportation ordeal, Franelli Carolina Zambrano Manrique's story stands out as a poignant illustration of the human toll exacted by the Trump administration's policies. Franelli's journey began in Utah, where she and her husband, Rolando Barreto Villegas, had been residing under Temporary Protected Status, or TPS. However, their lives were upended when they were detained by ICE, despite their TPS status. Franelli's ordeal took a cruel turn when she was separated from her husband during the deportation process. Franelli's deportation to Venezuela left her separated from her husband, who remained detained in the United States. Franelli's story, though unique in its details, reflects the experiences of countless others who were caught in the crosshairs of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Section 5. A call for justice and a more humane approach to immigration. The ordeal endured by the 8 Venezuelan women, with Franelli's story at its heart, serves as a stark wake-up call. It exposes the urgent need for a fundamental shift in how the United States approaches immigration. The use of deceptive tactics by ICE agents and the separation of families are moral failings that demand accountability. The time has come to move beyond fear and embrace a more humane and just approach to immigration. This approach must recognize the inherent dignity of every human being, regardless of their nationality. This call to action is about reclaiming the soul of a nation built on liberty and justice for all.